Arguably, the most powerful weapon any country has is the ability to manipulate its currency, right? If you think about it, if governments, if they raise interest rates, if they sell a lot of bonds, they can use the proceeds to, I don't know, build bridges or God forbid, declare war, that sort of thing. And so I have to mention Bitcoin when we talk about macroeconomics, right? Because Bitcoin might be the largest threat to national security, right? So for those of you that aren't too familiar with Bitcoin, it's basically it's the most secure way to transact in history. Okay, basically what happened was there's this guy named Satoshi. No one really knows who he is, right, or where he is, but he created the Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin is basically an online currency that we can use. And what happens is the reason I say it's incredibly secure is when Bitcoin first came out, I remember I used to mine Bitcoins, right? I had computers that, anyway, what happens is if you break the secure algorithm on a Bitcoin up in the cloud, what happens is you get a Bitcoin for free. Okay, and I got a couple of Bitcoins, kind of cool. And the reason that it's set up this way is because it's kind of like when you break your arm. Apparently, if you get a cast and everything, it grows back stronger, right? So when you break the security algorithm for Bitcoin, it grows back stronger. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? And so if you can break the algorithm for the Bitcoin, right, it grows back stronger, and the incentive for you, economically speaking, is you get a Bitcoin, right? And so I did this for a while. We had these small computers called Raspberry Pis that we used to use to mine Bitcoins. And then we used bigger computers and supercomputers, and then it just got too expensive for us, right, to do so, right? And so what happens is only a certain number of Bitcoins can be created, right? And people say, well, what happens if they run out of them? Well, they can't, because you can slice and dice Bitcoins into 1/1000th of a Bitcoin, which is called a Satoshi. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but I think eventually, I think Bitcoin is going to be the de facto currency for many countries. And I say this because there's only about 20 modern financial systems-based economies in the world and trading blocks. Okay, and that leaves 180 or so countries, whatever, without a modern IT-enabled currency, right? And so I think a lot of people using mobile eventually will use Bitcoin, right, in certain countries, right? It's just it's a more stable way to get paid, right? And hopefully it won't be as volatile as other currencies in the long run. And also, if you think about it, if you're a retailer and you're competing with Amazon, it's really hard because Amazon makes next to nothing in profit margins. And if you're a retailer, let's say you're Best Buy, which is a big consumer electronics store here in the United States. If you're a retailer and you're competing with Amazon and you only make 2, 3, or 4% profit on everything you sell, if you use credit cards, credit card companies charge you between 1% and 3%, sometimes higher. If you use credit cards, right, and let consumers buy stuff from you that are low profit margin, you're not going to survive in the long run. But if you use Bitcoin, right, you don't pay, you pay very, very minimal transaction fees, right? And so I think it's a viable currency in the long run. And I think eventually it'll be seen like a flight to quality, right? Kind of like gold is. When gold goes up a lot, people say, oh my God, it's the risk currency, so to speak, right? So when gold goes up, people are worried about the future prospects for the economy, right? And the same thing can be said for Bitcoin. It's something to keep in mind in the long run.